Today we have with us Biswarup, who's been tracking the Snapdeal story for Economic Times. So Biswarup, while last week it seemed that the deal was nearing its end with Flipkart all set to purchase Snapdeal,
Right.
this week early on we realized it's just not happening.
Mm.
So what is the update regarding what Snapdeal is doing at the moment?
Well, the deal is off. At least with Flipkart. That's done. I think that's pretty much dead in the water. What's going to happen with Snapdeal going forward is, what's been written, across publications. Snapdeal 2.0. That's the moniker that everyone's given to it. From what we understand, it's going to be a stripped down, smaller version of the company that we knew even till a week back, right? What's really going to, what we understand is that there are going to be more layoffs. So I think of this entire issue that we've been tracking that you and I have been tracking for the last, 7 months now. Everyone, of course, the investors, they don't recover the money, the founders get to keep their company, but the people who are really affected, badly affected by this whole thing are the employees. This comes, so I think from what we understand is that Snapdeal, the marketplace, and here I'm talking only about the marketplace, had an employee strength of about 1,200 even till last week. We believe that's going to come down substantially. There have been a lot of numbers doing the rounds. Whatever's done, it's going to be a significant portion of the workforce who are going to lose their jobs, who are probably right now in the process of, getting their, their termination letters. It's going to be a far smaller company. I don't see it as a competitor to, they haven't been a competitor to Amazon and Flipkart for more than a year now. In fact, almost a year and 18 to 24 months, they haven't really been, because their sales have been dropping, have plunged like sharply over this period. And so I don't see them as competitors to Flipkart and Amazon for the time being, maybe for the foreseeable future. But then it'll be interesting because the company officials haven't really said they've all spoken about Snapdeal 2.0. No one's really explained what Snapdeal 2.0 is going to be. This is all what we are writing is what we've heard from other people, and we've said, and no one's really denied what we've written so far. So I'm assuming that all of us are right, but then we'll see. Kunal Bell certainly has always had something up his sleeve, and we'll see how things go.
Right. So one interesting thing which is now being talked about is that Snapdeal has around 385 crore in bank, maybe some from the last round that they raised. That really isn't too much of an amount. If you look at it, it might last a year and a half, maybe max two.
Right.
Where is more money going to come from? Soft banks, certainly not.
No.
So rest of the investors probably would not want to.
No, I don't think so.
So where?
Firstly, if you're saying that Snapdeal has 380 odd crores in the bank, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's a far lesser number. So, and again, and if we take Freecharge, which was the other announcement that just preceded, the Flipkart termination talks with Flipkart. Freecharge, they're supposed to receive 385 crores,
right.
And let's be clear on one thing: they haven't got the money yet.
Yeah.
They'll only get that money once the deal formally closes, which should be sometime in September. If I could be wrong, but then I'm guessing it's supposed to be around about September. They don't have that money yet. All right. They'll basically be stripping the asset. Jasper, they're going to be getting rid of Vulcan. We had done a story where we had cited sources, and we believe that they're looking at a valuation of about 100 to about 120 crores for Vulcan Express, their logistics unit. Unicommerce is probably going to be on the block, but we don't have a confirmation on that. But one can assume that it's going to be on the block as well. So maybe they'll raise some more money on that. I'm not sure how much money they exactly have in the bank right now. There are different numbers during the rounds. We'll have to go and check. We really haven't had time. But then I'm guessing they have about 200, 250, somewhere between 200, 300 crores. It's a pretty wide range, but I think that's what they do have right now. Then the money from Freecharge comes in, but Freecharge money will only come in after another month, 2 months maybe. All right, they don't have that money right now. Let's be very clear. None of the existing investors are going to put in any money. At least the ones on the board. It's a really sad situation, and So that's going to come down a lot. They've been operating in an extremely lean manner for the last quite a few months now. If you go by their official statement, the only one that they've sent out so far, they've talked about, or in those internal emails to their employees, they've talked about that they're going to be operationally profitable in the next 24 at a gross level over the next 12 months or something like that. I mean, we don't know that. I mean, these are claims that they've made, and they made a lot of claims. Snapdeal wasn't the best with technology, and what they're trying to do out here, building this whole pure marketplace, where they're just a platform, and you'll have, sellers, they'll be connecting sellers to the buyers and all that. That demands a certain amount of investment in technology. They don't have that. I mean, they may claim they do, but I really don't think that. And they've always been behind the curve when it comes to that. So there'll be a fair amount of money going into that, right? And honestly, questions are going to be asked like, how the hell do you run a company with just 200, 300 employees? I mean, it's going to be a phenomenally difficult task. But you know what? I think since they're going to be operating they're running a more leaner operation, so they'll have some money to play around with. I don't think they're going to be spending on marketing, budgeting. I mean, let's face it, last year's, I think 2016, when they had an Unbox Zindagi campaign, which was an absolute disaster. I wrote on that, and that, it was money down the drain. It had no discernible impact on the company's fortunes, and I mean, we'll wait and see. But I think it's the whole thing is I mean, are we going to see them basically shut categories? Are we going to see them focus on just a few categories? They can call themselves a horizontal e-commerce player, but do they have the bandwidth to sort of really operate across categories? I mean, when you go into something like electronics or mobiles or something like that, I mean, Flipkart and Amazon, they already wiped you out. They'll do it again, and without breaking a sweat. So I think they'll have to be really smart about where they want to operate, how they want to operate. I think what Kunal and Rohit are going to do is go back to sort of really focus on tier 3, tier 4, that sort of that sort of market. They were doing that very successfully till about a year or two back, and then they decided to switch and go into sort of target the metro sort of customers, and they stood no chance, and that ended up with them losing out on what they actually had. They had great traction in tier 3 and tier 4, those sort of things. They lost that as well. I think they'll have to go back to that. And I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more focus sort of thing. I think it's going to be more fashion centric and a few other categories, which are really, really high margin. They have to focus on high margin categories. I mean, they don't have a choice. They cannot go into something like electronics or mobiles where the margins aren't that great. But you can sell by volume. But this company needs to make money. I mean, they might have investors who, there's a whole lot of disgruntled investors out there. And I include the ones who didn't vote for the deal, They didn't vote for the deal, but there were different reasons. They were unhappy about the differential payouts. They were unhappy how the deal was being, played out by SoftBank, who didn't take them into this thing. And, and there were a lot of egos at play out here. But those guys aren't happy with what they have. I mean, all of them have put money in this company, and that money's gone. It's just disappeared,
So, what would be the impact of the collapse of the deal between Snapdeal and Flipkart on the startup ecosystem?
Hard to say. It's only been in this thing. Is there going to be a negative impact? No, I don't think so. I mean, there are some brilliant companies out there. There are some great investors out there. There's a lot of money waiting to be invested out here. You look at any of the top, 20 funds out here, whether private equity or venture capital, who've, been investing or who've been tracking this space. I think they're still going to be investing out here. The fallout of the startup ecosystem is going to be, I think, people, whether they'll do it or not. I mean, it comes down to that, are things going to change? I think what we're going to see is basically founders, who are raising money. I think founders are going to be a lot more careful about the way the shareholders agreements are going to be structured. They're going to obviously, I think Ola has already done that. I think others are going to follow. I think the Ola guys have done something really smart out there. I think others are going to follow. I think, it's just that deals are going to deal. But, and also, in terms of deals being struck, they are taking longer. They will continue to take longer. I think there's a lot of, people don't want to sort of, shouldn't rush into something like this. Because the fallout between Snapdeal and SoftBank is a prime example. And there are others as well. This is just the most high-profile one. Is it going to deter people from sort of, coming into the startup ecosystem, starting ventures, joining startups? I don't think so. There are some absolutely brilliant companies out there. There's some great people to work with. The opportunities, I think we've just scratched the surface. I think the opportunities are unlimited. Does there need to be more checks and balances? Yes. Are we going to see them? The jury's still out on that.
Great, Biswarup. Thank you.
Not at all. Thanks for taking
Thanks.